Hey, welcome back, everybody. Ducks hockey and more. Thanks for tuning in, and really appreciate it. So don't forget, go down and subscribe, smash the like button. I love getting your guys' comments. They're amazing. I will respond, I promise you. So don't forget, let's do that right away, okay? Today's video is going to be about the top 5 teams and the bottom 5 teams. And stick around towards the end for Ducks fans. Ducks fans, we're going to talk a little bit about the Ducks in depth and why they suck so bad. Stick around. Okay, so again, welcome back to Ducks Hockey and More. We're going to talk about the top 5 teams. We're going to start right away with the top 5, okay? The current standings in the NHL are a really good representation of the top 5 and the bottom 5. So it's going to be closely to what you look in the standings. That's kind of what the top 5, bottom 5 are going to be. But let's dive into the top 5. Number 1, of course, is the Boston Bruins. Boston Bruins, what can you say? They're 18-3. They're a freight train, on a runaway freight train. It is very hard to beat the Boston Bruins right now. Offensively, they are clicking, and I'll tell you, Allmark in net has been solid. That was a question mark going into this season, right? Defense and goaltending wins championships. I've said that a million times. And for every team, it seems like the ultimate question as far as how deep are they going to be able to go comes down to the goaltending and the defense. Boston doesn't have any problems. Ullmark has been playing extremely well. If he continues to do well, Boston's going to just ride that right into the playoffs, and they're going to go deep. Okay, they're going to go really deep. Injuries are going to be the only thing, I think, in goaltending that are going to derail this team. As far as I'm concerned, they're just steamrolling right through everybody. That big surprise to me personally that Boston is where they're at. I knew they'd be a okay team, but this good, I mean, it's quite impressive to say the least. But Boston's number 1 for sure. Number 2, who would have thought the New Jersey Devils would be right there with the Boston Bruins, almost in record too, by the way. They're 18-4. These guys are just rolling. I mean, they had one setback recently, but they continue to roll. They got right back on the winning, which is what every good team does. If they lose a game, okay, fine. They get right back up, and the next game they go out and win. New Jersey, what can you say? Hughes looks really good. Dougie Hamilton, that acquisition they had last year, he's starting to, play well. I was a little bit concerned going into this about their goaltending issues and that things. It hasn't been an issue. New Jersey, their goaltending's playing well, the defense is playing solid, and offensively, they are clicking. So what a hard team to beat right now, the New Jersey Devils. Nico Hischier, what a great year he's having. I mean, you can't say enough about how well this team is gelling and performing. And I know Lindy Ruff, their the head coach of the New Jersey Devils, he was on the hot seat to start the season. Lindy Ruff, they started off like 0-3, and it was like, okay, Ruff, forget you. I know a lot of NHLers and specifically Devils fans were not on the Lindy Ruff train. Well, they are now. They are now. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if New Jersey continues the way they are. Lindy Ruff will win the Jack Adams for sure if things continue. Either that or Boston's coach. So, he's got to be the front runner for the Jack Adams for Coach of the Year. And I don't know, man. All I can say is New Jersey's good, and they're showing it. They're really playing well. So good job for New Jersey. Hey, number 3, a team that I thought was going to be struggling when Matt Murray went down, the Toronto Maple Leafs. So listen, Maple Leafs fans are got to be excited. Toronto is now up to, 13-5-5, okay? There was a time there where they were struggling. They went on a Western Conference West Coast road trip. They struggled. They ended up losing to the Ducks in overtime, and a lot of Toronto fans were pissed. And I can see why. I mean, they have the offensive power. I mean, like I've said before in previous videos, I mean, half the team's salary is locked up in 4 offensive players that are just juggernauts. But Defensively, were they going to be able to get through this? They have a lot of injuries, a lot of depth issues on the blue line. And then, of course, goaltending. Matt Murray, they brought in to be their number one. And he was a question mark, kind of a wild card going into the season. And then he got injured. And it was like, oh, man. In my opinion, that I expected Toronto to just kind of fall apart. And I'd said it before in other videos, they were going to have to outscore their opponents to win games and stay in the hunt for the playoffs. They've turned things around, folks. They are playing very well. Matt Murray is back. He looks good so far. And if he continues to play well, Toronto's not going to have any problems getting into the playoffs. They're doing really well. I have them ranked 3 in the top 5 teams in the NHL. So they've gone from a mediocre team because they were just kind of struggling and barely treading water there, to beating really good teams and consistently winning games. And so Toronto has now come back. So Toronto fans, I'm sure, are very excited right now with what's happening and what they see on the ice. And I can't blame them. They look good. And with Matt Murray back in net and healthy and playing well, they're going to be a really, really hard team to beat. In the playoffs for sure, it's going to be. So let's see if they can get past the first round. I mean, Toronto fans, the Toronto woes, the Maple Leaf woes are always that first round. So let's see. I feel good about them right now if they can stay healthy, okay? If they can stay healthy. I know that Toronto, though, real quick side note, is still looking for some defensive blue line presence to bolster that blue line. And I think they need it. I think that'll push them over the top and make them a true contender if they can find somebody to fill the lack of experience and depth on the blue line. So Toronto in at number 3. Hey, number 4, Vegas. Vegas has struggled a little bit. The Golden Knights, they were up there with the Boston, okay, top 2 teams. But New Jersey's replaced them, and I feel like Toronto's replaced them with the way they've been playing. Vegas is still a really good team, guys. But they've had some setbacks as of late. And so it's kind of like, it's not derailing them. They're not going to just fall apart and go away. But it's kind of showed, okay, Vegas, they're good, but, they've got some weak spots too. So listen, they're struggling lately, but they're still a great team. Their record, real quick, 16-6-1. So that's a very respectable record, quarter of the way through the season. But, Vegas, number 4. Okay, what can you say? And then another East Coast team coming in at number 5. Kind of a one, kind of sneaking in there. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the New York Islanders, not the Rangers. I didn't say the New York Rangers. I said the New York Islanders coming in at 5. This is a crazy one for me. Now, it's not that the Islanders are horrible, but I did not expect them to be, what are they? They're 15-8. Okay, they started the season off, they struggled a little bit, and then all of a sudden they just started cranking it up. They are now winning games. I'll tell you, here's what I think the Islanders are riding, and what ultimately makes them a solid team, and the record they have is because of this person, Ilya Sorokin. Their goaltender he's going to get the Vezina if he continues to do what he's doing. He is solid. He has money in the net, hands down, right up there with Vasilevsky, Shesterkin. Of the worlds. He really is. He is up there. He is probably the best goaltender in the NHL right now. Let's just say it, okay? He has put the Islanders where they're at, and if he continues to do this and no injuries, nothing crazy happens, and they can continue to ride him and he stays healthy, the Islanders are definitely a playoff-bound team, and they might make some... turn some heads in the playoffs and make some noise. So we'll see. But there's my top 5. Here's my bottom 5, okay? Bottom 5 teams. We're going to go backwards from 5 to 1. So my last team that I'll tell you will be the last team in the NHL, the worst. So let's start it off. Number 5, the San Jose Sharks. San Jose Sharks are 7-17-3. No, I'll take that back. 7-13-3. 7-17, geez. 7-13-3. So they're well below 500. Something about the Sharks that, Erik Karlsson's having probably a career year right now. Norris Trophy candidate, big time. He has been rumored on the trade, wire of maybe San Jose entertain moving him. Now, he's a big cap hit, and they're going to have to retain a lot of his salary in order to move him. they would get a lot of good assets for him for a team that needs to rebuild. Or do they keep him because of how well he's playing, and the post Brent Burns era of the San Jose Sharks is benefiting Erik Karlsson, in my opinion. But does he want to stick around for this team to try to rebuild and figure out how to become a winning team, playoff team again? I don't know. Karlsson, in my opinion, is at an age where if I were him, I would want to play for a contender and try to win the Stanley Cup. I really would. So, San Jose, though, they do stay in games. They keep it close. That's why they're at number 5. Number 4, the Ottawa Senators. A lot of people would probably put them at second to last in the NHL based on their record. I believe the Ottawa Senators are a much better team than their record really shows. In fact, I don't even think they should be in the bottom 5, quite honestly. So it was hard for me. They're only there because of their record. I feel like this team will probably turn it around again, and they probably won't be in the bottom 5 when the end of the season comes. They're better than this. They really are. Goaltending and defense. They've got to shore these things up and solidify them. I think that's what's hurting them the most. I think offensively they have tons of talent. There is no shortage of talent on that team. It's just all on the blue line, and in the goaltending. That's where they need to shore up and solidify so they can try to win some more games. Is that even going to happen this year, though? I don't know. Probably not. If they're not going to be in a playoff contention type position, they might be sellers come the trade deadline instead of buyers. So we'll see. But Ottawa's at number 4 currently. I think that's going to change. Number 3 for me are the Chicago Blackhawks. Their current record, they sit at 6-10-4. 6-10-4 is for this team. Nobody expected the Blackhawks to be super good. At one point they were 500. And they were surprising a lot of teams, including myself, by beating some pretty good teams. And they've been kept it pretty close in a lot of games. So Chicago's, they've stayed competitive. Let's put it that way. It's not, you don't go and you don't play the Chicago Blackhawks and expect to just roll over them. Let's put it that way. I think the biggest question for Chicago at this point, I know they're going to finish probably bottom 5 in the league. But what's going to happen with Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane? Are they going to be playing for a different team before the year is up? A playoff contender? Are they going to get moved at the deadline? I personally feel like Kane for sure, Toews more than likely. They need to get something. They need to go into a rebuild mode, move those players out, and get some assets for them to start this rebuild. Plain and simple. Okay, Chicago, number 3. Number 2, Columbus. The Columbus Blue Jackets. Struggling team. I think they should be in a better position than they are, but again, goaltending and defense hasn't been good enough. 7-12-1 is their record. I expected them to be a lot better, of course, but they just need more support. They've got Gaudreau, they've got Patrick Laine, they've got some pretty good forwards there. I just feel like defensively and goaltending wise, that's where they need to shore things up, kind of like the Ottawa Senators, and it would make a huge difference for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now, being that they're probably not going to be a playoff team this year, in fact, I can tell you pretty much, watching them and their record currently, chances are they're just, no, it's not going to happen. So they'll probably be sellers at the deadline. It'll be interesting to see what kind of moves they make, because they need to change this team up and support the star players better, and specifically shore up their defense and get some better goaltending, in my opinion. But defensively, for sure. Hey, that's the Columbus Blue Jackets. And then the last team, the Anaheim Ducks. Okay, it's sad to say, but they are the worst team in the NHL right now. It is really, really, as a Ducks fan, and this channel is primarily about the Anaheim Ducks. But as a Ducks fan, it is really hard to watch. And this is what's going to go into my next segment, where I'm going to talk about the Ducks specifically. But if you've made it this far, thank you. And don't forget, go down and subscribe and smash the like button and hit that notification bell. Comment. Leave me any comments too on anything I've talked about already on these teams. What you think? What's your opinion? Let's talk about it. But moving forward, the Ducks are the dead last. They're going to stay dead last, okay, unless they can figure something out Team play is just, it's crap. Look, I blame this team when you look at them on paper, okay, is not this bad. Okay, Ducks fans would probably agree with you. And Ducks and the Anaheim Ducks don't get a lot of media attention. I mean, we're out on the West Coast. We're a bottom feeding team this year. So you probably don't hear a lot about this. If you're still watching this, you're not a Ducks fan. But the Anaheim Ducks fans, okay, which I've been since 1993, we've seen a lot of ups and downs, okay? This is probably the worst year I've ever been a part of, at least so far, quarter of the way through the season. I've never seen an Anaheim Ducks team so bad, especially when you take into consideration the players they have. And you look at them on paper and their stats over the years, especially in the last couple of years, and you look at it and you go, this team shouldn't be in this position. We shouldn't be. We should not be in this dead last crappy position. Should we be in a playoff contention team? No, not necessarily. No one expected that, neither did I. But man, I expected a lot better than this. I mean, it is sad and almost embarrassing to watch. Embarrassing not only as a fan, but for the players that deserve better. The John Gibsons of the world, the Cam Fowlers of the world, Ryan Strome, Frankie Vetrano. They deserve better. I chalk it all up, okay? I chalk it all up to coaching. I've said it before, Dallas Eakins has to go. Hashtag Dallas Eakins has to go. Fire Dallas Eakins. Please, Ducks, Pat Verbeek, get rid of this guy, okay? Stop the bleeding, please. It has to start with this Dallas Eakins is a horrible NHL coach, okay? I'm not knocking him as a person or as a coach, if you will, but he cannot coach at the NHL level. It is obvious, okay? It is so obvious. He's probably got the best team he's ever had to work with and coach and create a winning team. This is it. And he can't do it. He can't do it. You look at him his expression on the bench. I mean, he's just like, I look at him and I go, dude, there's no passion in you. There's nothing. It's no wonder that this team seems to be completely disconnected from what he is trying to do, which I don't know what that is. I really don't. Last year, we had one of the best power plays, and we had a really good penalty kill. This year, we're dead last in both. Are you kidding me? We have better team this year than we did last year, but yet we're failing horribly. That's a coaching problem. That's a coaching problem. They are completely inconsistent. They beat their they've got their first regulation win against the New York Rangers at home. Okay, they won 3-2. The New York Rangers played the night before against the Kings, and they won. Okay, they beat the Kings in their barn. So we got them on the second of a back-to-back. So they're a retired team. They're on the road. They outplayed us. They outshot us. We shouldn't have won that game. Yeah, we won, but we shouldn't have. The only reason we won that game is because of John Gibson. He played an amazing game. The Ducks are completely inconsistent. It's all about coaching. It really is. That guy has got to go. Got to go. I mean, they lost at home to the Ottawa Senators in the last game they played a couple nights ago. I don't know. It's almost like they're trying to tank. And I don't think they are, but man, when you watch them, it seems like they're just purposely trying to become the last team in the NHL. It really does. It's really pathetic. Okay, here is a little bit more in-depth on some players that, in my opinion, need to go on this, okay, for this Ducks team. And these aren't that they're bad players, but it's not working out. And I want to see Pat Verbeek and the Ducks get something for these players before they get nothing for them if they hold on to them. And Pat Verbeek, last year, we all saw it. We moved good pieces, Lindholm, Manson, Delorier. These players left us, and those are good players I enjoyed. I wanted to keep as Ducks, okay? And we moved them because they were ending their contracts soon, and Verbeek would rather have gotten something for them than nothing. So he had to move them. It was hard, but these are the players, in my opinion, that need to go. Kevin Shattenkirk. Shattenkirk's got to go. He's an aging D-man. It's not that he's a really bad defensive player. He's getting older. We need to get something for him. A team that needs an added blue liner with depth and experience like Shattenkirk would gladly give us some good assets for him, okay, at the deadline. Shattenkirk needs to go for that one reason. John Klingberg. This guy is overrated beyond belief, okay? When we signed him, I was excited. It's like, yes, cool, John Klingberg. Knowing that maybe it was just a, hey, we'll sign you, but we're going to move you at the end of the year or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what the whole thought process was by Verbeek bringing him in, but man, is he bad. Now, I say that he's really not a really bad player, but he is as a Duck. I mean, offensively, he's shown some hints of, okay, I know why we got you or why you've got the points you do have as a defenseman. But as a defenseman, you have to be able to play defense too. It can't be all about offense. You've got to be able to play defense. This man cannot play defense for shit. He's horrible. Turns pucks over. He turns pucks over to the other team. He gets beat one-on-one. He doesn't win battles down along the boards very well. I mean, I've seen so many mistakes from this man, and we're paying him $7 million to be back there. What? Horrible. Get rid of him. Klingberg's got to go. He's overrated. Get something good for him. Here's one. He's been a Duck for a long time. Jakob Silfverberg. Silfverberg is a player that I like a lot. He's a Swede. He's a good checker. He's good on the penalty kill. He's a good two-way player. But listen, Silfverberg has more offensive upside than we're seeing. And maybe it's because he's getting older. Maybe he's just losing his touch. I don't know. But I think Silfverberg's time as a Duck, in my opinion, is probably over. I think it's time to move him. And he would be a good depth addition to a team that's looking to make a push. I think Silfverberg might be a name we see moved at the deadline. So Jakob Silfverberg, I love you. I think you're a great player. I really do. A lot of Ducks fans may not believe that he is because he doesn't put up a lot of points or whatever. But there's a lot more than just putting up points. Okay, and he's a good, hardworking guy, but I feel like it's just time. It's time. Silfverberg probably is going to get moved, and I think he probably should. We'll get something good for him. Here's one I have a tough time with, but I think he should go just because it's just not working out. Maxime Comtois. There are times when Comtois actually looks really good. He's got a great shot, and he is a big kid, so he can lay the body and grind it out along the boards and those kind of things, which I like. But he's inconsistent. There's times where I'm like, yes, that's what we want to see from you, Comtois. And then games go by. Lots of games go by before you see it again. Well, we need more consistency on this team. And I feel like Maxime Comtois has had multiple opportunities in years of playing with the Ducks now where it's like, dude, we need you to step it up, and it's just not happening. Maybe he'll have success on another team. You know what I mean? A change of scenery for Maxime Comtois might spark him and his numbers improve, and then good for him. But as a Duck, it just isn't working out, in my opinion. Time for him to go. Let's get something for him at the deadline, right? Here's some guys that are on the bubble for me that I don't know. I didn't want to throw him in there. Yeah, I want to see him go, but potentially maybe we should, Derek Grant. He's going to be coming back from his injury. I like Derek Grant a lot. He plays his best hockey as an Anaheim Duck, but I don't know. Is it really worth keeping Derek Grant around? He's good in the face-off, in the circle. I don't know. Derek Grant's on the bubble with me. Kulikov, I like Kulikov. He's a veteran defenseman. He's been around for a while, but he's moved around a lot too in the NHL from different teams to team. I don't know. There's something about him I like, but then at the same time, is it worth keep holding on to? That's up to Verbeek to decide, but I feel like Kulikov is on the bubble on whether or not we move him or not. I think they brought him in to bring in some experience and some depth on the blue line. He's on the last year of a 2-year contract he signed in Minnesota, so we inherited that. I have a feeling Verbeek will probably move him. That way we don't just lose him and get nothing for him. The other one is Gibson. John Gibson, arguably, probably, you could probably say arguably he's probably the best Duck goaltender. Him or J.S. Jaguar. And no offense, Guy Hebert, if you're watching this, Guy Hebert was an amazing goaltender, but he wasn't the caliber of JS or Gibson, in my opinion. I know Gibson deserves better. I think that he would benefit from going to a team that is more playoff contending year after year, especially as Gibson gets into he's in his prime right now, but that isn't going to last forever. He's only got 2, 3, maybe 4 more years. You have to have really good goaltending hockey left in him, I think. And so I don't know that if it's fair to him to keep him. As much as I like him and I love seeing him in a Duck uniform, I think it might be time to move him too. So he's on the bubble with me. So, hey, listen. Hey, guys, thanks for watching. I've rambled long enough about the Ducks and their horrible play this year. I am hopeful for the future for the Ducks. I am very frustrated as a Ducks fan for this season and the way things are going. So I will continue to say Dallas Eakins is the problem. He needs to go. And then after he's gone, move other players and go into a full rebuild, which I know we're in, but man, let's get some good assets and draft picks and let's make this team better, Verbeek. Let's do it. Because holy crap. So, hey, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like the video, smash that like button, hit the notification bell, comment like crazy. I want to hear your comments and thoughts. And, we'll talk. So thanks for watching. See you next time.